Okay, we are live.
I guess we're live now.
Good evening and welcome to the Lazy Parents.
Welcome. Happy New Year's. This is our first broadcast of 2021.
I know it's a serious business.
Do you... Are
Listen
you...
to that sound. You like that?
Terrible. Are you guys alive? Do you live? How did the New Year's and Christmas and all of the holidays treat ya?
How did we do?
I don't know. I mean, I think we did okay. Honestly, I was like, so right before the whole winter vacation started, I was having like problems with my one of my molars. It hurt so terribly badly. So I went to the dentist like on the 27th, I think.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, well, since this is our last day, and I didn't even have an appointment that day, so they squeezed me in, and he just put on like a little bit of medicine to make it not hurt. And he's like, okay, come back when the year opens. We'll be open from the 5th, but my next appointment was on the 8th. But man, it was just a downhill.
I know you were struggling.
It was downhill from there.
Whole time.
It was terrible. Like,
Yeah.
I had shooting pains all the way up into my eyeball and my brain, into my ear, and it's going down into my neck.
Poor baby.
It was really bad. And I was taking these bufferins until, and I didn't understand why it didn't work. I just kept taking them, you know, as much as possible within the limitations that they put on the box so as not to become a bufferin junkie. But it just didn't work. And I was in such excruciating pain night and day. I couldn't sleep at night and I couldn't sleep in the day. And I think I slept some of the day, but it was terrible.
Yeah,
so,
you didn't look like you were in a very good place.
I was not in a good place.
It's just like when you have
so much pain.
When you have tooth pain, it affects everything, like your mood and it's just exhausting just to be dealing with that constantly.
Yeah, even just laying down is painful, you know, and that's the best I could do, be in pain as I lay down. And so it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And I was just waiting for the dentist to open. And finally I decided, I ran out of all my bufferins. So I went to the drugstore, the pharmacy, and I started looking at all of the stuff on the boxes, and I was looking online, and then it said, oh, apparently for tooth pain, even though it says that bufferin, works for that, it doesn't, or that you don't get much effect at all. So I've been drinking these bufferins like vitamins. They're doing absolutely nothing. Finally, I got some Tylenol, and I was able to go to the dentist yesterday and feel like a human again for the first time.
Oh, Menito, congratulations.
Yeah, but this side of my face still feels very puffy.
Yeah, I was thinking about that while June was going through that of the dentist. I wonder when he's off for the New Year's, he knows that, like, oh, that girl that I sent home, she's going to be in pain all New Year's long.
Yeah. No, I don't think so, because like it was deep inside, and he was like, right before, since I was the last patient, right before they closed down for the year, he was like, okay, so we really don't know how bad it is unless we like really go in there and see what, if there's any nerve pain or whatever issues there we need to deal with. And so he asked me, he was like, do you want to just take the whole tooth out right now? Or should there's a possibility of that if we open this up and look at it, or I can give you some medicine to just put on it and make it not hurt. And so I was like, yeah, it wasn't so bad at that point,
Yeah.
So that's what I chose. And I realize in retrospect, I chose wrong.
You chose wrong.
I chose wrong. It was debilitating. It's such a small little tooth, but it can bring a grown woman to her knees.
Yeah, it's too much, that tooth pain. That's why the scene in Castaway where he has a rock.
Oh, God, yeah. I wanted to do that
right?
sometimes. To
You're
just
just
pull it out.
Oh, my God. Was it a rock? Did he use a rock?
Something like
no,
that.
he had like an ice skate.
Oh, God.
He used the ice
Even
skate.
better.
He put the ice skate on the tooth, and then he had the rock. He's like, and then he knocks himself out.
Yeah, now I can finally relate to that scene and that pain with empathy, because I've never had tooth pain like this in my life ever.
I'm sorry, baby. That was so rough.
I mean, thank you. I think you definitely tried to give me as much space to rest as possible, but there's no rest in the
Yeah.
dungeons of hell.
I finally had to call the dentist.
He called the dentist for
I was like, this has to end. Because I told you the other day, but I think because you wanted to let me rest, you didn't call the
because
dentist.
you asked,
Yeah,
can
no.
I rest? And so he rested, and
Yeah,
then he
no,
woke
no,
up
but
at 4 in the afternoon. I was like, well, we can't go to the dentist now.
No, but I assumed that because we had a conversation earlier that you
Yeah.
would prioritize going to the dentist, but then when I woke up, I was like, oh shit, you didn't.
No, I
Like,
prioritized your
you
rest.
prioritized my, which is really sweet, but it also made me like, hey, you need to go. Like
I
this
do
is
need to
this
go,
is
but you
priority
also
number.
needed your
I know, I
rest,
really appreciate it. That's
so-
why I couldn't actually like hey you because you were doing something nice.
And when you came down, like, you guys, I can't even express it to you how, like, shining and glowing his skin was. Maybe it was just in comparison to my gaunt and skeletal dying face, but your skin was glowing, and I was like, yeah, sleep really is the ticket.
Yeah, I think I slept like 16 hours
Straight,
or something.
I think. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
kind of amazed and also very proud of you.
Yeah, but now I'm getting older. Like my back hurts when I sleep too long.
Oh no, are you serious?
Yeah, I know. I've always
How's
thought,
that
like, you know how, like,
happen?
old people, old people of the world, older people, they like, oh, I can't sleep as long as I used to. And I'd be like, bish, you know, come on.
Because Masa thinks
I-
that sleep
I'm-
is one of his superpowers.
Because I'm gifted with the gift of sleep. Like, it's not very useful of a gift.
No,
but
it can be.
if I was a bear and needed to hibernate,
Yes.
I'd be the best bear. I'd beat the other bears
He'd
at
beat
hibernation.
The bears. Yes, you would.
Oh, anyway, so that's why the next day I was like, I'm
Yeah.
calling the dentist right now, and I was like, I'm calling for for you, and they're like, what? I'm like, she needs to go to the dentist. When can she go? They're like, who are you talking about? I'm like, you know who I'm talking about.
What? How are they supposed to know? Yeah, I went in and I got the great dentist.
Dentist,
Yeah,
the
the good
guy.
one. He just like got straight in there and he like gave me like he's like, okay, we're gonna give you some shots. He gave me a big shot. And then it didn't work. He kept drilling. I was like, that still fucking hurts. And so he gave me another. I was like, oh no, oh sumimasen. He gave me another one in a different area. And I was like, no, that still fucking hurts. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna like give you anesthetic straight in the nerve. This is definitely gonna work. So he like straightened the nerve. He's like, it's really gonna hurt because he's like literally shooting
I think there's some
anesthetic
kind
into
of
the nerve.
yeah.
And then that didn't work either. And so finally he was like, okay. This is the one that will work. Got it there. And finally I could feel nothing for all day.
Yeah, the time that I had a similar pain to yours, it just hurt the whole time. Remember I told you, right? That that dentist.
Oh, the sadistic dentist?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's that
God.
pain the whole time, and I was like, rah, rah, and he's like, oh, stay still.
Oh my
And
God.
It was really bad. Like that
That's
was
traumatic. That's
yeah,
fucked up.
it just hurt the whole time. I told him it hurt, and he kept
And
going.
He kept going. He
Yeah.
didn't give you another
No,
shot
he didn't.
or anything?
No, he didn't.
Oh my God. I was like at the candy store with this dentist. He was like shooting
Yeah,
me
it
up
was
with
really
all the
bad, and I
painkillers.
knew it. I was like, this dentist is bad. He kind of likes it. Like
Yeah.
he kind of likes to tell me not to like.
He's taking pleasure
he's
in your
taking-
pain. He's like
Yeah, he
holding
took
you
pleasure,
down.
yeah.
and-
He
oh
took
my
pleasure in being like,
God.
you could,
That's
you know.
terrible.
Yeah, hold still, gamanshite, like.
No, you can't. That's terrible.
Happy New Year's, guys!
Happy New Year's,
and,
everybody.
And remember that dental hygiene is very important. Take care of your teeth. Get them checked up. Go to the dentist. Don't be afraid of the dentist.
No, the dentist is your friend unless he's
Fear
not
not
a
the
friend to
dentist.
himself.
Go even if your teeth are great. Just go and say hi to the dentist and have him tell you,
know,
that there's nothing wrong.
Future you will love you for going to the dentist at a young age. Also, brush your teeth, floss. Flossing is very important.
But just go to the dentist. Don't I know
The dentist will
there's-
tell you to
There's
floss.
like probably I'm going to estimate 65 to 85% of the people of the world have a overdue dentist appointment. Like they should have gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not, right?
They're putting
and
it
it's
off.
because there's something about a dentist that really it's like meeting the man that holds the doomsday clock for your death.
But
you know?
it's only the doomsday clock because you put it off for too long.
Right.
Is this a white hair?
Is it?
Oh, it's mine.
Your hair. I got your hairs and my hairs. Bethy on our live stream says a dentist is expensive. good point.
Where are you joining from?
Probably
I
the
think
Americas.
States. Yeah, that sounds. I mean, I've heard two of my sisters live in the States, and well, actually no, three, and I've heard horror stories of the medical pricing situation.
I mean, I would love to sit down with different people from different countries and talk about their healthcare system, because it's. I often wonder if people knew what it was like, how much people pay in Japan, if they would be like, sign me up for that. But maybe they would, because maybe they're paying more in the States anyways. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't.
I'm not saying that Japanese healthcare is bad. I think it's amazing.
It's amazing.
But it can be a huge chunk of your earnings.
What? No, because it's based
on your earnings, right? So usually it ends up being, I don't know.
It's great,
10%?
guys. It's get back to
Less.
you on that. No,
less
I mean
than 10%. 15%? 20%?
I'm not sure actually. I should look into that because
Right?
it keeps fluctuating. Actually, no, it doesn't.
It also
really.
depends on where you live, maybe.
Yeah, where you live.
Because we've moved a couple times.
So
and it
yeah, where we
changes.
were living before in Tokyo, it was notoriously expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where we were living. So depending on the ward and stuff like that, it can be pretty expensive. even in
Anyhow,
Japan.
it's not about healthcare. I actually have a topic for today.
Today is Masa's turn to topic.
I thought about doing something, and then I was like, you know what? Let's save this really deep
dive?
and personal for another time, because it's New Year's. It's a new year. So I thought I'd go real nice and easy.
Gosh, what was that? Sorry, you said that, and I remembered like the what was the thing that they say in Australia when you have the deep and
personal.
the DNP?
DNP, yeah.
No.
Deep and
something
meaningful.
else. Deep and meaningful. The
D&M.
DNMs. That's
Yeah.
right. So my sister, another one of my sisters, she lives in Australia, and like it's so funny when they're gonna have like a serious conversation that's a heart to heart. Like, okay, we're gonna go and do the DNMs. For some reason, she got an Australian accent. It's amazing.
Yeah, she really does have a
A true
Australian,
accent. Yeah. I mean, she's lived there for like I think nearly a decade now. But
We've learned to be shapeshifters.
we.
All third culture kids.
I don't feel like if I started living, say, in Britain, that I'd start having a British accent.
But your talking would change.
Maybe the
words
vocabulary
you use
I
and
use,
the
yes,
vocabulary you
it's
use.
true. And the turn of phrases and the different expressions would
But
probably
I think
change.
you're less of a shapeshifter than others.
I don't know. Maybe.
You're a little bit more.
I'm pretty shifty.
No, you kind of like poke at other people's shapes.
Oh no! What does
You just
that
like
mean?
you're the shape snipper. You just snip up. You like chop 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 snip 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 poke poke
You
poke.
mean I'm like the pruner?
I don't know if it's so constructive like that.
It is. It is.
It can be.
I get emails thanking me all the time for my
for your
for my burning sword of honesty.
I'm
I'll
definitely a
shave your
shapeshifter.
head with it. Oh, what?
I'm definitely a shapeshifter.
Oh yeah. Yes.
But
it's
then
true.
I like to stand out too. So then
I know it's true. So it's a dance.
It's a dance.
It's a dance.
Gotta be careful.
So what's the topic?
Oh
Did
yeah,
you say it.
That's right.
Sorry.
So I
wait.
was thinking the topic for this podcast would be just well, very loosely, like the baby and the bathwater, and the the don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yes,
so I
dirty
think about that.
dancing. Wait, no.
Wait, no one puts baby in the
That's
corner.
different. Sorry. Wait, didn't that come from that? No,
No.
it's totally different.
No.
Forget it. Sorry, it's not dirty dancing. My bad. Yes, baby in the bathwater.
Right? So like what I think about a lot about how we grew up, or how I grew up, and like what were the good things and what were the things that were just absolutely nuts and should definitely not be repeated. So what's the bathwater and what's the baby? Because there were some things that were great, I think.
Right.
Like I was telling my sister the other day, I'm like, I kind of understand why homeschooling was a thing.
Yeah.
You know, like
For sure.
I do see the desire to homeschool your kids, and kind of there's benefits there. maybe they don't, depending on the situation, whatever, right? It
Yeah,
it
yeah, of
wouldn't fit our
course.
situation. But yeah, some things were just nuts, right? Like, let me think of an example of something that was just nuts.
I mean, there's lots of examples,
Yeah.
but we're trying to think about the baby, right? Not the
Not only the
bath. Okay,
baby.
both
I
bathwater
think it's fair to
and
talk about
baby.
the bathwater
Yeah,
too.
it's true.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing about a bath is the bathwater. Whether or not there's a baby in it. Wait.
I don't know. Maybe this counts or maybe it doesn't because it's not a fully formulated thought in my mind yet. I'm just kind of like grasping at its tail at the moment. But
Yeah.
so I guess one thing about being raised in the family that even now I still think is really amazing is just that whole mentality or that spirit of just sharing and openness. And well, at least that was what the banner sign said
Right.
over each of
Okay.
our heads as we wept crowns of thorns and tears. I don't know. But so yeah, that I still appreciate. You everybody appreciates openness and vulnerability in others, right?
Yeah.
It's the first thing you want to see in someone else, but it's the last thing you want other people to see in you. So I feel like that type of a thing is really great. But on the flip side of that is that the bathwater for me is that it went so far that it raised an entire generation of people who have absolutely no concept of boundaries. And
Yeah.
therefore, it's really dangerous both emotionally, physically, and mentally.
Right.
So that's the bathwater.
Right. We're either like, how do you say? Like we're in jeopardy of losing ourselves in somebody else, and at the same time, always in danger of kind of like putting too much of ourselves in the hands of other people, just like no boundaries,
Yeah, yeah,
no
yeah,
real
yeah.
walls. What's
No
mine
real
is yours.
wall.
What's yours is
Exactly.
mine. Problems and all. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And to an extent, of course, that, borderless world of oneness, which if it is in actuality happening, then each person is also well cared for and all of their boundaries are respected as well. And it's not just a draining, emptying, excavation. Not excavation, that's not the word. I don't know. Just like living in a soup.
Yeah, I remember, like it's one of those things too where growing up in the family, which was the name of the cult that we grew up in, it was this thing of there was this philosophy of all that believed were together and had all things common and sold their possessions and good and parted them to each man as every man had need, right? So it's like once you join, all of your things belongs to everyone. No one has their own money or whatever. But in reality, of course, as time went on, especially when I was growing up, I think in the beginning, maybe it was more like that. But by the time that I was growing up, people did have their own stuff. People had their own rooms, sometimes shared with other people, but their own, their own belongings, right? Own clothes, own stuff. Probably your clothes came from somebody else who wore
Yeah.
it first, and those he wore it after somebody else wore it. But it was still yours once you had it. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, we're gonna, your clothes are my clothes. But there was this general feeling that we shared all things.
Yes.
And but at the same time, everyone knew that some people had more, right? And it's like a human nature thing. If you're gonna have things, you want to accumulate things. You want more, whether it's money or the better room in the house or more space in the fridge or whatever it is, right?
Right, yeah.
And there were always those people who had more because they had the power in the home,
Yeah.
or they were the leadership, or they had whatever, right? So it kind of, I don't know where I was going with this. This
This is the bathwater.
is the bathwater. I'm not sure, but yeah. I remember there was this fight that I had because I lived in the closet.
You can come out now.
No, I'm coming out the closet,
I
guys.
accept you.
I lived in a closet, and I know this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but my brain has gone there. So I lived in a closet, and there was this couple that lived next door who had their own room. I lived with 2 other guys in this room. And I lived in the closet in the room, and they had a bunk bed, right?
Okay.
The 2 other guys had a bunk bed in the room.
Yeah.
It was fine. I'm not complaining about the closet. In some ways, that's the more private place to be sleeping.
Yeah.
But the couple who kind of were the how do you say the big number 1 and number 2 banana.
Whoa.
You know, they decided that closet was the place that they would store their suitcase.
Oh, how rude!
Right?
How rude! In your tiny
In
little
in our room.
Yeah.
In my closet.
In your closet bed.
Yeah. So we had this ongoing silent war, you know, while everyone's nice to each other on the outside.
Right.
Like, God bless you, love you.
God bless you, number
know?
1, number 2 banana.
Yeah. Meanwhile, every single day I would take that suitcase out of the closet and put it in the hallway.
Wow.
And then
dedication.
I'd come back and find the suitcase back in the closet. And I'd
So it was like an unspoken...
It was like a silent war.
Wow, how long did this go on?
I don't know. Until I moved out of the closet, maybe. It was a long time, though. Sometimes I would get lax and leave it in there and be like, whatever. It's in my closet. I have to be honest. I didn't keep up with it for, you know, like, consistently.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. So,
I don't know what that had to do with your point of...
No, yeah, that's just what I
definitely have a problem with boundaries.
You mean people having them, or you making some for your own?
Both. Yeah.
This is so dangerous.
It is dangerous, and I've had to learn very slowly about boundaries, and like sometimes you don't need to feel guilty about having boundaries, and I always feel guilty about it, like, oh, shutting that guy out, and it's like, but he's an asshole, and he's only been in trouble in your life, and you're like, oh, it's true, yeah, and like, it doesn't mean you hate, it doesn't mean anything's wrong, you're just making a boundary. I'm like, yeah, why does that feel so uncomfortable, you know? It's just not something
because it's new.
Yeah, it's not something I grew up with.
Yeah, I think that's actually more normal than you might think for people to be raised without boundaries. Except for in Japan, maybe. Japan is very good at boundaries in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, Japan.
Right? It's just like, yeah, you're you. Just keep it nice over there.
Japan has interesting non-boundaries. Like, I know, maybe it's with gaijins. Like, maybe it's with foreigners. Sorry, anyone who's offended by the term gaijin. But, like, there's sometimes where Japanese people will say things that are just like, whoa, that's so forward. Like, oh, you're so fat. Ha ha ha. You know? Or something like that. They'll just say, and I don't know if they say it to other Japanese people or if it's only to foreigners.
That's actually interesting. I'm not sure. I mean, of course, there's always the comments of like, "Whoa, you're so big" or "You're so tall." I don't know about the fat one so much. If that's but Japanese, like when you get behind the veil of all of the politeness and stuff, and you're at that level of friendship where you can just like trash talk each other, then yeah, people call each other just the shittiest terms ever, you know. And that is, of course, you know, among.
But as long as the boundaries are like, if it's a regular interaction with people who aren't at that level, it's going to be very polite and all of those things.
But that might have nothing to do with, you know, Japanese. That could be just that person, because there's always that person in every room.
It's true.
Every group, every company. So what's your
Bathwater
baby?
I don't know. Okay, well, one for me, one baby, like one really amazing thing was the amount of creativity that a lot of the kids that grew up from the family have. It's undeniable the amount of artists.
Yes, it's true.
And super creative people, writers, you know, musicians. And I wouldn't say they're all like the best in the world-class skill level, because I think that's one thing that people weren't able to develop. You know, like there wasn't an avenue like, oh, you're an artist. We're gonna support you and, you know, send you to these people you can learn from. Yeah, no, there was none of that. Help you along your path or whatever, right? Or like you have a talent for writing. There wasn't even necessarily a great metric for knowing if somebody was great at writing, because you weren't in school where it would have been like, oh, you have a gift for this. We're gonna put you in the debate club or the writing club or whatever, right?
No, but I mean, maybe not for kids necessarily, but if you were talented at something, they'd ship you off to some sort of like world services
Sure.
position.
Yeah,
You're a
You're
shepherd.
right.
You're all...
Especially like musicians, I think got a lot of love because that's really out in the open.
Yes.
That's like, oh,
That.
you can't deny if somebody's musically talented, then it's
Yeah.
pretty easy to spot, and then you're like, okay, you're talented. We're gonna, use you for the Lord, brother.
Yes. Sure. Yes.
Right? Maybe not so much for the other things, but I'm just always amazed at how many talented people came out of that situation, and there's something there. I don't know if it's the hard times or the
I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, wasn't it all kind of based on a lot of just connecting through music to begin with, anyways? Like the whole family and how they spread was through their mission of music,
yeah.
and so that was always something that was encouraged, regardless of whether you had a talent for it or not. Which is
Yeah.
why I played guitar once upon a time, because everybody had to play something,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty rare to find somebody who grew up in the family who's completely tone deaf,
Yeah.
right?
And if you really, really can't play anything, they'll just give you the castanet. Or they'll put you in the kitchen.
And I think about that sometimes about people who grew up the way we did, and if there's something to it, same as like growing up in a gospel church background or whatever, it's like to see people use music in such a deep emotional way. And I know that, like, okay, your love for God or Jesus, whether it be here or there, it's like a real emotion to the people who believe it. And then to channel that into music or something, whatever it is, it's a level deeper than a lot of people get to experience on a day-to-day level growing up as a kid, right? If you
Yeah.
don't go to gospel church or church and you don't see that happening, maybe you still make that connection within the music that you're playing or the art that you're creating. But
Right.
if you see that from the time you're a kid, it's almost ingrained in you. You know on a really instinctual level
Right.
that music is supposed to get to that point. That point of pure whatever, ecstasy, losing yourself, right? Euphoria
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's not like this thing that you realize slowly. You're just immersed in it from the time that you're little.
Yeah.
And you kind of know, like, when you bring people there, you're like, oh, I brought you,
So this is the baby.
maybe that's the baby in a strange way. Because, like, how would you do that? How would you do that without showing the example?
Yeah, you can't show. I mean, you can, sure, but you got to give people the example, else they're never going to know. They can conceptualize and they can imagine what it'd be like, but there's nothing like the true experience.
Right? So, like, say with Junya, I don't think he's had many of those type of experiences with music, right?
Yeah, that's
Of,
true.
like, seeing other people just get into it on such a deep level and just really be there in the music. I don't think he's really experienced that, and I don't know where he
Really
would.
wasn't like that at Kodakumi's concert.
No. I mean, maybe where I worked before.
At K-Space is probably the closest thing.
Maybe because there, at least, we really got into it. Like, we danced and we, right? Like, there was a lot of music and a lot of action and a lot of energy put into it, and that's pretty awesome, I think. That's probably as good as it gets on a secular sort of kid level.
So what would you throw out about that, though? Is that just all baby?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like the Jesus thing. It's kind of like, okay, it's kind of like Santa Claus in a way. Like, how do you feel about Santa Claus? And it brings children much joy and magic over the holiday season. But for me, I'm like, no,
elves
I'm
get
not
the
going to
worst.
pretend like how Santa Claus is real. There's no part of me as a person that wants to entertain Santa Claus. Like, we could have
You could have.
with Junya.
Totally.
And it would be there'd be a lot of magic there too, right?
To Santa
Don't you
Claus
think?
the
Don't
whole
you think we
thing?
could Santa Claus it up?
Yeah, it's true. We could, but yeah, it's true. We could have raised him a dreamier boy, I think. But he's very grounded. Like, he's way more grounded than I am. Sometimes I just want to float away into like fairy tales and lore and talk about it, but he just like puts a pin in that, and he's like, no, We're gonna stay right here, right on the ground, Mom. And I'm like, but it's so nice here. Anyways, yeah. I like the music though. It's definitely an experience that it's not something I think that regular society, especially in Japan, might get to experience. Maybe the closest thing that they would have is like bonodori.
Sure, okay, Bondori, or seeing somebody else on stage do something amazing. You could take inspiration from that, right? Like you're in your room and you see whoever singing a song and it moves you, and that's your level of awareness of how music or art can influence your right?
Yeah.
Your innards.
My
But
innards.
but I just think people who experience it in worship, right? Get to see it really clear in one snapshot of what it can do. And at its I don't know, at its pinnacle, music can do that for anyone, right? In any moment, just like move you and all of these kind of things. And but I think for a lot of people, if they don't have that flexibility as a kid of being around it, seeing it, being comfortable with it, it's a lot harder at a later age to just give yourself over to it.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can imagine it might be, but at the same time, it might just be that one thing that cracks open the dam.
Right. I mean, the people who are going to do it are going to do it regardless, right? The people who are going to get there and be that kind of artist are going to get there whether or not they've been to church or have experienced it in that way. But I just think there's an inordinate amount of creative, super amazing musicians and artists that come from where we started, where we grew up from. And that to me is kind of amazing. Something good
About it.
Something good is there.
Not going through the school factory, the human factory. Wait, human school to train you for factory.
Yeah. I don't know, but Junya, like, something with raising Junya now is just, I don't have a bad taste in my mouth for magical thinking. I don't really, I think, I don't know. I'm trying to be okay with it and just, because some things are kind of magical and it's okay to be magical, but for me, there's like a trigger when there's something to do with magical thinking. I'm like, like Santa Claus, or I don't know, any of those kind of things, kind of,
Yeah, I guess I mean, you get to choose. Or maybe you don't get to choose. I think it's different what people find magical. Some people love digging in the ground looking for rocks, and that's the most magical thing for them. Other people learning to get their pilot's license is the most magical thing for them. It's everything. Everything is magic. It's just about what you want to
Thanks, babe.
open your eyes to. I was making 0 point there. But,
Iker says, but how important is that if you aren't a musician or into music beyond being a listener?
I'm not super sure what that's referring to exactly.
I'm guessing it's just about like how important is it to experience that at a young
being moved
age
by music.
I don't know. I don't think it's that important. I think if you're gonna get there, you're gonna get there anyways.
Yeah, and
But-
like people get those cathartic experiences through many other forms. Like someone picks up a pencil and it's just like, oh,
But
and
I
then they
just
become an artist.
Right, but I just mean that your threshold for a certain experience expands as you experience these things on a deeper and deeper level. And from a young age, you're exposed to really a deep well of emotion, albeit towards some kind of magical figurehead.
Yeah.
Right? It's like this whole big thing is, I always look at the idea of Jesus as being like this weird way to project yourself outside of your own body into another symbol so that's easier to love.
Interesting.
Like you really want to love yourself, but you have a hard time. You're a bad person. You're a sinner. You've done wrong, etc., etc. And then it's hard to look at yourself and be like, "Oh, I love you. It's okay. You are forgiven. Everything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You are
yeah.
beautiful. You are perfect, and you love me, and I love you. And I'm always here inside of your heart, loving you forever because you are.
So
I
it's
am
like
me.
an externally projected image of the dissociated parts of yourselves
Yeah,
that
exactly.
you can't
So-
love because of all of the unlovable
No,
things
you
you've
take
done.
all the good that is within you.
I take it.
So you take all the good that's within you and you project it out of yourself onto some external thing.
Yes.
And then you can let that shine some reflective light and love back into your life.
Yeah.
You know?
I totally think so.
Right?
Yeah, that's what we do with not even just to say figures, deities like, say, Jesus. We do that with people in our families, our friends. We do that with people in relationships with,
Right.
you know, and that's called that's the whole codependency thing. As long as you love me, I can love me.
Right. But this is a little bit different because it's an imaginary thing.
Fair.
Right?
Sure.
It's an imaginary thing that brings you, that is like a tool. It's like a tool for self-love. It's like it's a tool, right? That you can use, and it's a little bit easier than without it. I think for a lot of people, especially people who are struggling in difficult situations. One person said, I can't remember who it was. I'm sorry, but some person said Christianity isn't for people who have their lives together and have everything going great. It's for people who need help.
Right. Yeah.
You know, who need somebody to save them.
Heard something like that.
And I kind of agree. It's like, it's there for you if you need it. This tool of like, hey, somebody loves you, you know, and whatever.
Somebody loves you and whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And so even though it's kind of magical thinking, it's an imaginary, I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone who believes in Christ. I think it's a beautiful thing, like that if you believe it in such a way that it brings you love and peace and joy into your life, you know, and it makes you live a better life and be a better human or react kinder towards others, then great, it's amazing. But for me, I feel like, okay, it's probably just my personal belief that it's an imaginary thing, this Jesus guy, right? This idea, but it's an amazing tool, and even though it's reflective light, it can still go pretty deep. It still goes that love and that, right? What you're able to find there in the love of Jesus or whatever that I saw from my parents and other people around me was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy stuff. And so your threshold from a young age is immediately like very much broadened. Right? The sort of like emotional, I don't know, bandwidth there is pretty deep.
Yeah.
And that especially the expression of it in music was very deep.
Yeah.
And I think that gives you a really big head start. Same as probably gospel church or whatever church where they play music and really get into it. I think it gives kids a really huge head start as far as understanding the sort of emotional depth and ability within music.
And it's also a much broader way to, like, when you can play, or if you can play, or even if you can't play, it's another way of expressing yourself in a form that is not as limiting as words. Because, you know, all of us have a time in our life when we were pretty verbal. Before we could talk, but we still felt every emotion, and we didn't have any barriers or even a train of thought to be able to solidify them into anything that we can remember. But that's all, I believe, captured in music and frequencies, and that's why music moves us all at such a cellular level. Different frequencies for different people, that's for sure. But I forgot what my point was.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm going to read this question. Someone says, so anything you see others experiencing deeply, you are more inclined to experience deeply yourself? And is the more the better, imaginary things as well as real things, equally or differently? So many questions, Aika.
Well, I would literally say that it depends on every single person and understanding their value system and their world. Because too much magic to the wrong person is not going to do anything. In fact, it may shut them down even more.
Sorry,
go on. Yeah.
Do you think magic is more, less, or equally as important to experience, understand, and implement as reality? Interesting,
that depends on your definition of magic.
And how much of music is magic, and how much is very concrete and mathematical? Yes, both. Yes. You like how I did that? Yes. Everything you said there, yes. Absolutely, 100%.
500%? What?
Music is so mathematical. But it's so emotion, too. And I kind of take it back now that I'm thinking about it more. Because here's the thing, is that the one thing that you learn from being in those situations and playing that music with a bunch of people all singing the same song is first you think, oh, it's because of love of Jesus, right? As a kid.
Oh, okay, sure.
As a kid, when growing up, because you see it and then like, oh, Jesus, oh, Jesus. They love it, right? They really love Jesus. And it's kind of awesome. And
Well, it's awesome to see anybody get carried away
Yeah,
and in
yeah,
the flow.
yeah,
It's
right?
that flow state that everybody looks at and they know and they recognize it as a level of greatness that we all have in us.
And then later on in life, I taught kids and I played music for kids, just like, yeah, clap your hands, woohoo, yeah, A B C D E F G H I J K, sing it, yeah, right. And you realize it's not about the song you sing and it's not about the words you sing. It's about everybody in the same place singing the same song at the same time.
Yeah, for
right?
sure, for sure.
And really putting themselves in it. Committing to it, not being like, this is boring or whatever,
Yeah.
but actually getting really, truly
Yeah.
bodily invested into the music.
Nobody trying to be cool. Everybody's hot and fired up.
Right, but that doesn't really happen in normal society.
Well, it does at raves.
It's true. That's the new temple, right?
Temple. Yes. 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 We all worship the god of.
God of EDM.
I don't know if EDM is the thing anymore, but yeah.
That's probably not
worship.
EDM.
That
I
is
don't
what
know.
it is. The temples are now where music is being played. We go and we worship the gods of rock or pop or whatever.
But they don't get to all sing the same song at the same time. Maybe
They
sometimes
do sometimes, and those are the ones that
That's why, like,
get the B.
that's why
roll.
Ed Sheeran does so good, you know?
Yes, because he includes everybody. Everybody gets to sing.
And I noticed some of these singers, right? They do this really cool thing where they like pitch their songs low enough that the octave higher is perfect for girls to sing. That's the trick. And then all the girls sing your songs.
And
you
they're not
don't
struggling
have to, and you don't have to,
sing it.
and you don't have to strain your voice. You just do the octave lower, and you're like, oh yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, you know. All the times that you ran my parade, you know, they're all like singing.
Whoa, you cracked it. You cracked the
I'm
code.
just like, because that's what everyone wants is that experience.
It's true. Everybody wants that feeling of unity and oneness.
But
Even if you don't want it, when you feel it, it's undeniable.
But see, all of those situations are when people love the same thing. They all love Bieber. Bieber's their Jesus.
Yeah, but maybe
Jeeber. Beezus.
Jeebus.
Right? So
Yeah,
and then with the church, it's all love Jesus. So can you have that without the love of the imaginary thing? Because Bieber is the imaginary thing, right? Nobody actually touches Bieber, or he just loves them, and they just love him, right? It's the same exchange, right? So the image in your mind of the thing.
Yeah, all of the disowned parts
Right?
of yourself.
But
you're
can you do it with other people in that sort of way without that imaginary figure?
Be in a state of unity without looking up at someone like on a pedestal,
Or
Is that what you're
or
saying?
something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a focal point.
For sure. Oh, a focal point.
Yeah, that's what I like. Say, okay, like whether it's the cross or the Christ or the Bieber or the.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a human symbol. It can even just be a mission, or like
Sure, yeah,
we're
okay.
gonna end world hunger, and everybody gets together, and that's the one mission. That's where all the focus goes. The energy flows, right? Everybody's there focused on one singular goal,
Yeah.
and that is where that feeling of unity, because that's the point when you're doing something that is more than yourself. It's when you're only focused on yourself and your needs and your embarrassment that you can't get out of yourself, and that's what creates the disconnect. But we all feel.
Yeah, so I'm asking, can you do it without it?
I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, okay.
Because I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know.
Like, could we,
I don't think
you,
so.
me, and Junia, just be like, hey, let's
I think
sing the song? No, right?
sing the song
Like,
and
no.
get out of it and like totally go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could
Yeah.
pitch ourselves into a wretched fever.
Yeah, we did with Rainbow Connection tonight.
we did. It was terrible.
It was great.
No, it was really great. It was
was
super,
really
super
good.
sweet.
We like Rainbow Connection these days. It's the new song. It's all the rage. Have you heard of it? Hermit the Crab. Hermit the Frog. Hermit the Crab. Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog made famous. I think originally sung by the Carpenters. I think.
All right. Well, I didn't really come up with very many babies or very many bathwaters.
No, but it's okay. We're still like sort of crawling out of winter vacation hibernation. Junior just had his first day back at Yochien at kindergarten. He was very happy to be back. I think. Super
Yeah,
excited.
it's good.
Yeah.
Too long at home makes for crazy. Mm-hmm. We had a good time together though at home.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad that things are moving back towards normalcy.
Towards for sure.
Nah.
It's good. Sometimes I fear that we will float away.
Yeah, we do kind of during the holidays.
During the holidays we sort of just float away on a cloud and we're like, okay, anything goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think
not anything, but
I think we just it's funny. I think sometimes we live such a simple life that Junior doesn't know what he's missing out on. Like
you never know what you're missing out on.
Yeah. So it's not like we do anything special even during the holidays. It's not like we ramp up the specialness. I think we let some things go, right? We get really kind of lenient about certain things. Just like, okay, more sugar.
Yeah.
This holidays is the sugar time, I guess. Junior had his sugar day.
Oh, it was fantastical. Oh, by the way, thank you to everybody who sent gifts of sugar.
We received much sugar from many friends. Thank you so much.
From over the seas, and it's amazing. There was one box by Mary, I think is her name, and gosh darn it, woman, you seem to know like all of the favorite snacks. Like I opened it.
It's a very highly well curated.
It was well curated
box of
to particular taste of desired junk. Like those Reese's Pieces were. I was the only one who got them. Sorry.
I didn't even have one.
But you have the Sour Patch Kids.
I have the Sour Patch Kids.
He has them like hostage. All of the kids are hostage.
They are my children.
Nobody gets a Sour Patch Kid.
They're not the Sour Patch Kids.
Slowly eating them like Moloch.
They're the Sour Patch children, and they are mine, and I am theirs. We love each other.
Deeply. And also the box of gourmet popcorn just arrived from Susie
yes,
today.
It came today.
Thank you so much. Yeah. She wrote me a message saying that it was caught up in Florida and that it might not arrive till around, Valentine's Day. So I was like, okay, that's great. Whenever it comes, it'll be a great surprise. And then it came this morning. I was like, oh, and they're delicious.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
And Junior, we had a sugar day for Junior. We've been talking to Junior a lot about, just like sugar and like, you can't go crazy eating sugar. We try to pace it out and we try to make it so that, there's maybe one snack a day kind of that is a little bit sweet, but not go overboard. Fruit is fine too. We've been pretty strict on sugar for the most part, but the older he grows, the more he really wants to eat sugar. Like he loves it, He just has this different look in his eye, this different hungry look of his like inner greed, his id comes out when there's sugar. It really does. Like I really see this different, I'm not going to call it monster, it's just this other being within him that needs the sugar. He's like, sugar. And so we've been talking for a while about, well, if you really love sugar and you're so hungry for it, we can have a sugar day. Like one day where there's no restrictions, no rules. You just go crazy. You eat as much sugar as you want. Mm-hmm. And so he decided that his birthday? Was it birthday or was it Christmas?
No, it was his birthday because we were like, oh, we'll be having a birthday cake and you'll be opening all your presents and there's tons of snacks all around, and we made gingerbread houses, so he wanted to save it so he could eat his gingerbread house.
So he had his sugar day.
He had his sugar day.
And he's just like climbing on the table, taking bites out of the chimney, just like without...
He wouldn't even break the cookie off. He would just like eat straight off of the house like a savage. Such a savage. Oh my God.
He actually didn't eat as much as I thought.
He was actually much more restrained than I thought.
Yeah,
I thought he would go crazy, but I think that's because he was worried that if he really ate too much that he would puke.
Yeah.
I think he was
kind of,
that was in the back of his mind too, but still,
But he actually didn't eat as much as I thought. But I'm glad he had his day.
yeah.
And now we're like easing out of that slowly.
That's right. That's right.
We had some caramel popcorn today.
We had some
won't
caramel
lie.
popcorn, but you know what? I went to the store and I bought apples and oranges.
But we made
and
Junior
so
work for the caramel popcorn.
It's true. We did. We did. And he loved it. It was worth every bit of whatever he was writing down.
Yeah, we played shop today.
It was the first time that Junior's ever played shop. And I think he really liked it. He
really
liked handling money.
Mm-hmm. We got a bunch of Post-it notes and just June and Junia went around the house collecting like different stuff from around the house, little objects. They took my iPhone from me and then they put it on this table.
Most expensive object.
They put that on the table and they put prices and then we just
decided
used
on
Monopoly
prices.
money and then I came in and basically it was just to help him practice writing numbers and using a calculator. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then it was my turn to make a shop with Junia and I decided to make a membership
idiot.
a membership.
It was not a smart plan. So, but yes, he decided that they're gonna make a shop. But before I couldn't even go in the shop,
Yeah. She needed a membership card.
I needed a membership card, and I had to pay $2,000 a year.
No, 2,200 yen. Remember the dollars?
2,200 yen a year.
Which is
ridiculous. But
No.
the Monopoly money that you gave me was barely over $2,000, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to put down 10% of my money to just shop at this store. I don't even know if I want to buy that stuff."
But I was trying to tell her that the store that she was going to come into was an amazing store, and she,
He was trying to, and so I asked, if I become a member of this store, do I get a discount? No discount.
No, of course not. And then I went and I talked to the manager.
No, I talked to the manager and I said, if your snake
I offered
snake
her
oil salesman doesn't get off
discount.
my... No, you didn't.
I did 10%. 10%.
Oh, 10% off the membership.
Yeah,
off the membership.
Yeah, 1,980.
And so I called Junia. I'm like, Junia, you need to talk to your salesman here. He's really turning me off. And Junia was she was so busy handling tape and moving things around the shop that he totally, ignored me. So I had to walk away. I was just like, I don't need your business.
But I ran out and I chased her and I convinced her to come back in because she really needed to see some of her products.
I really needed to see some of the things they stole from me to sell back to me.
We stole the ukulele and sold it back.
Junia was also a very, very obliging shopkeeper. I wouldn't buy things if they didn't come with 2 or 3 free things to make up for the membership that I paid. I was a very shrewd and rude customer.
Sometimes I worry about that boy. One, I worry that he's going to be a terrible gambler because he loves to gamble and he's not good at it.
No.
He has luck. He has good gambler's luck, but that's not always a blessing.
No, it's not.
Right?
Because it's too
Because
easy
he doesn't
to
know
keep going.
when to stop. And sometimes he doesn't take a fair enough risk assessment before he makes a deal.
Yeah.
Right? And he's so hungry for the gamble. He's hungry to keep going.
Yeah.
Like, if he loses, he wants to keep going until he wins, which is really scary. It's like,
Yeah, he's a very again till he beats you guy.
And then as a store manager or store person, like owner,
Store manager.
he's so hungry to make the sale. He'll give you like 4 free items to make the sale. He can't say no. Aika says I can teach him to play Texas Hold'em. Only if you teach him how to play it statistically, Aika. With proper percentages.
With the proper math.
Yeah. That's what he needs.
The risk assessment
He needs
as well.
that to help him. Or he's going to be playing on pure emotion.
Yeah, that's okay,
No, I don't actually worry about him. He's going to be an amazing gambler.
Vegas, here we come.
He's going to make us all rich. The weird thing, the uncanny thing about Junior is he always bets big on the time he wins.
I know,
which is crazy.
That's a part of his intuition that I really want to continue to foster. He's so sharp about these moments. And I think that's truly magical that he's so in touch with it.
He manages to like make tons of money because he'll win the one time that everyone puts all the money in.
Yes, that one time. And the next time, since, he'll get to set the bet, he'll put a super low bet.
Yeah.
And then, he'll be
lose.
like,
He'll be
oh,
like-
phew, it's okay, because I barely even put out 10 yen.
But I had to talk to him the other day. I was like, are you sure you want to keep playing? You're ahead now. Are you sure you want to keep playing? You can stop here. If you stop here, you're coming out with more money than you walked in with. But if you keep playing, there's a chance you could lose it all right here. And he's like, okay, yeah, I think we'll be done now.
Yeah.
Well, there was very little baby and there's very little bathwater.
There was very little baby and very little bathwater.
We can
Even
get-
so, you guys stuck with us. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Happy New Year's to everyone.
Happy New Year's. I think there was a comment earlier that I sort of saw but I missed. But Kalina, you were saying something about your teeth too. I just want to, extend my deepest empathies.
Oh, Kalina says, I've had 6 appointments over 7 weeks to fix my tooth problems. I feel you. It's terrible. Knocks you down.
Yeah, man. Knocks you down. I was down. I was okay, until I think the first, and then it just got really bad. Really bad.
How long do you think we've been going for?
About an hour.
Yeah, I have a weird sense of timing since I've been doing these live streams of when an hour passes. I can kind of feel
You get
the hour.
Yeah. You feel
Yeah.
time's up.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. Well, I guess, if we're going to start wrapping up, I really want to say thank you to all of you guys for listening. Thanks to all 6 of you. We are now the 25th podcast.
Really?
Wait, 24th podcast.
Really?
Wasn't that the email?
Oh, that's right. You were saying? What were you saying? I thought you were saying this is we've done 24
No, we haven't
podcasts.
done 24 podcasts. We are ranked 24th on podcasts on parenting in Japan. I think that's what it said.
Yeah. it did
Something
say
like that.
Which
Which is a little bit frightening.
Goes to show.
I am a little bit afraid, but very thankful.
I wonder what number 23 is like.
It could be easy to look into. It could be very easy to find. In fact,
I'd like to keep wondering.
we're gonna keep tabs on this. No, but in all seriousness, thanks for listening, you guys. Any final?
Any final thoughts for me? I'm just happy that's 2021. I'm looking back on 2020. It was an amazing year. Truly amazing. And I think for decades to come, we'll be able to tell people we lived through 2020 and we did all those 2020 things. And it's kind of cool. 2021. We're in the 20s now for real.
We're in the real 20s.
We're in the roaring 20s. It's going to get great.
Yeah, it's gonna get great. And I have this weird prediction that we're gonna look back on 2020 in about 5 years and be like,
Good old days.
that was the calm before the storm.
It was weird. I was in a where was I? Oh, I was in the Shinkansen section of the train station in Shizuoka on the way to drop Seda back off to her mom's. And while there was this announcement blaring through the speakers to reduce to reduce rate of infection, please, disinfect your hands and wear a mask to reduce the rate of infection. Just over and over again. The infection. I was like, what kind of weird world? Looking around, everyone's masks. Dun, dun, dun. It's like, whoa, this is a weird world we're in. That's
It's not weird. It's the new normal.
It is the new normal.
It's the new normal.
It is.
And the new normal will continue to evolve.
I don't know. I feel like 20 years from now, we'll look back at this time and be like, this was the start of the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Yeah. We're in the 20s.
So too. I really agree. Everyone, I feel like, I hear people saying that, 2020 is the worst. It's over. It's only up and out from here. But I feel this is literally just the beginning. So buckle up for safety,
it's super
guys.
exciting. We're going to be okay, though. Gonna be just fine.
We're gonna be okay.
We just have to give lots of snuggles and cuddles
To our little ones, so they can, after we're done killing each other and stuff, they can hopefully build on our ashes. Destruction breeds creation.
Junior's so snuggly these days. Okay, I don't know what happened. Just like the last 2 days, he's just all snuggle cuddles with me all the time.
Yeah.
Snuggle. Oh, snuggle cuddle. I just like your cheeks because they're so chubby. You know what I mean?
Your cheeks are chubby. Oh man.
I know. I'm like, Junior, will you remember these days? And he's like, yes, you mean all the cuddles, right? And I was like, yeah, all the cuddles.
I wonder if you will.
I don't know. I don't remember much about when I was 5.
I don't really remember much cuddles.
I don't remember
I'm sure I was cuddled.
I'm sure I was cuddled too.
I just don't really remember it.
I think because you don't really remember cuddles. Like, it's not something that you're like, oh, something new is happening. It's something that happens ever since you were a tiny baby.
Right,
it's
and it
actually,
just slowly fades out.
Yeah, it's actually the norm to be cuddled, right?
Right.
So when you're cuddled, you're in a place of like, da, like, you just feel good. It's not like, oh, something exciting is happening or something new is happening or I'm being cuddled even. It's just a place of peace and and safety. And so you don't necessarily come out remembering that so much. If somebody cuddled you weird, or if it was an uncomfortable cuddle, maybe you remember.
True.
I do have memories of crying and hugging my mom. Like, my face is on my mom's shoulder and I'm crying. Like, I do have like certain weird blurry images of what I saw in the background while I was having that moment, kind of thing.
Right.
But not so much any memories of actual cuddles.
Yeah, I think like any memories that I would have of cuddles are just not great ones. I mean, this wasn't necessarily a cuddle. I remember it was like a home meeting or something. I was still very young, probably like 6. Maybe no, I must have been 8 or so if I was there. But we're all sitting around the living room, and I was sitting on some uncle's lap, and I just remember that his breath kept hitting my arm, and I just hated it. I was like, please, I never want anyone to breathe on me ever again. And so I started, if I was ever near someone, I started like holding my breath and releasing it very slowly so as not to breathe on them and annoy them. I've stopped that now, but I just remember that. And then ever since then, when people breathe on me, it's just like gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, I remember being a paranoid holding people's hands because I thought people could read my minds if they held my hand.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's so
like,
cute.
I felt like if I held hands with somebody, they could kind of read my mind, so I was kind of little on alert. Like,
interesting. Like, through your hands, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Anyhow, I can read your mind without hands.
I know, it's terrible.
It's really weird having like telepathic experiences, but we kind of always had. Yeah, but recently it's just getting even more and more.
I don't read your mind. I don't hear any of your thoughts. I just feel your vibe.
You feel my vibe?
Yeah, I feel the electro, like the harmonics, like coming through the air.
That's so wild because like for me, when I guess it or when I know what's in your mind, it comes into my mind like a picture,
words, right?
Like
or
a
pictures,
word,
yeah,
and I see it very clearly.
That's not how.
Yeah, because you're very visceral.
I feel the things oh, sadness, oh, anger, oh, But
for me, I'm highly visual, and you're highly kinesthetic.
Yeah. I get the feels, like I feel the things.
But I also get the feel vibes too. Like if I'm near someone, am I ready to say this? when I'm near someone and they're like in physical pain, I can feel that same pain in the same place in my body, and that's why for the longest time there was a certain person who I knew was incredibly unhealthy. Because whenever I was around them, I would get really intense, sharp pains in my heart. And it turned out that this person recently found out they have a heart condition. And so it's just lots and lots of things like that. But yeah, that's why I can usually feel with him. I'm like,
yeah. It's kind of annoying because
It is annoying.
I think sometimes we have a hard time with each other for that reason. Like if
because you
it's
can't
just like
hide.
just like let me have my own bubble,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
But like your bubble and my bubble kind of just and then it's like, oh, I'm feeling all of your shit, and then sometimes it gets confusing. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it
what
does,
is
it
mine
does,
and
and
what
that's
is
why
yours?
it's really good.
Am I having a hard time, or are you just having a hard time? And actually, I don't need to be
Yes.
here, but
Yes.
I am here just because I'm part of the bubble. And if I could just get out of the bubble, I could just be
See, that's
fine.
why I think it is really good before when I would go on business trips often, because then we get like a reset.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
get a
it's
reset.
always
Like,
good. Yeah.
here you are, human.
Yeah. No, it's always good to have time apart for sure.
Yeah, super
Because
healthy.
you can kind of realize, oh, that was my shit all along. Oh, I
Yes.
had that confused.
Or
I thought
that
it
was none of my shit
yeah,
too.
yeah, exactly. Or like, oh, I didn't need to be worrying about that. That's fine. That's not mine.
And also, I don't know what it's like when you're alone, but when I'm alone, then I get like chances to just remember me and fall in love with me again.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Time.
You get to be with yourself, and you can kind of like for me, I think when you go away for long trips, there's this sort of long process that happens of sort of running away from myself and then being like, nope, gotta do it, gotta spend time with me, gotta be here for myself.
Yep.
And then learning to love yourself, and then after learning to love yourself, or like kind of being with yourself and being kind to yourself and getting to know yourself again, then you start missing you, and I'm like, oh, when are you coming home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then
But if it's too short and I come home before it's the all, are you coming home?
things are
Then
slightly
it's
different, of
fun.
course, with Junior, but now, before, when Junior didn't go to school regularly, or when I was taking him in with me to work,
Yeah,
that was a little
right.
bit different, because it was just pure exhaustion. Like,
Yeah.
when you went away, then it was just like all hands on deck, just try to survive kind of
Yeah.
thing. Because we'd come home so late, have to cook dinner, get him in bed so we can go to work the next day. Recovery days were the days we weren't going into work together and kind
Yeah.
of taking care of the house. But now that things have changed and he goes to school, there's that's kind of resumed again, where it's kind of like I get to be with myself for a little bit
Yeah.
more, which is really good.
It's really good. It's super healthy.
I think we keep coming across this thing over and over again, which is like, you and I need time away.
Well, so like, this is something I heard, and I'm not really sure if it's accurate because honestly, I haven't tested it yet. But apparently, in order to have like a healthy, balanced family dynamic, each individual needs to have time on their own, and then the child has to have individual time with mom, individual time with dad, time together, and then also same for each individual.
Talk times. Remember talk times?
What's talk time?
You didn't have talk times?
I mean,
Like, you're having talk time with so-and-so today.
not
No?
really. No, I
They
think
take
I was
you on a
out of
walk?
there from before.
And they'd talk to you. They'd have time to talk. So,
No,
how are
I
things
was
going?
too young. I didn't get to experience talk time.
No. All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for this talk time. We're going to sign out now.
We're gonna sign out now. Thanks so much for listening. Happy New Year. I guess we'll see you, hear you later.
You'll hear from us again at some point.
We'll be back.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh, bye.
I'm trying to... I don't know where I'm going with this. Ah, yeah, I know where I'm going. Awesome.
Bye.
I'm out of practice.